Last night, Sam only wanted to keep his job. When the company holiday party spiraled out of control and his boss was too drunk to drive, he did what no one else offered: he got her home safely. But the next morning, when she opened that door and saw him standing there with his daughter, she said something so unexpected, it flipped his entire life upside down. Sam Walker didn't have a Christmas tree this year. Not because he didn't want one, but because he couldn't justify the extra $45 when the heat bill was already 3 days past due. His 7-year-old daughter Emily never complained. She just drew a tree on a piece of construction paper and taped it beside their window. She added a crayon star on top. "This way we can still pretend," she said, her tiny voice full of softness he didn't deserve. That's the kind of girl she was. Thoughtful. Sweet. A quiet observer of life. Much like her father. Sam worked as a forklift operator for Whitebridge Interiors, a high-end furniture company that serviced clients wealthy enough to treat $7,000 couches like disposable props. He barely made enough to scrape by, but it was steady, and that meant everything when you were raising a kid alone. This Friday, the company was throwing a holiday party in downtown Seattle. Sam didn't want to go, but attendance was strongly encouraged. So he left Emily with his elderly neighbor Mrs. Coates, put on the one decent shirt he owned, and took the bus across town. The rooftop bar sparkled with holiday lights, catered sushi, and fake smiles. The place smelled like perfume and bourbon, and Sam instantly felt out of place. He drifted to the edge of the crowd, quietly nursing a soda, watching his co-workers unwind in ways he couldn't afford to. That's when he saw her, Clara Easton, their regional manager. 42. Sharp. Confident. Wore heels like armor. She was the kind of woman who never said good morning unless there was a meeting attached. Sam had spoken maybe 5 words to her in the past year, all work-related. But tonight, she was different. Laughing too loud. Her eyes a little glassy. She was at the bar knocking back tequila with the junior marketing staff like she was in college again. Sam clocked it immediately. She was wasted. An hour later, Clara nearly tripped trying to put on her coat. Her driver had cancelled. She didn't have an Uber app. Her purse was missing. People laughed. Her assistant, Chad, made a joke about letting her sleep it off in the conference room. Everyone chuckled and looked away. Sam didn't. He stepped forward quietly, hand in his pocket, jaw tight. "I'll drive her." Chad blinked. "You don't drink." "Don't have time to," Sam said. Clara barely recognized him. Her words slurred as she clutched his arm. "You're the quiet forklift guy." "Sam something." "That's right," he said. He walked her outside into the biting cold, opened his 2004 Honda Civic with the broken heater, and helped her into the passenger seat. She curled up like a tired child, mumbling something about how fake people were. As he pulled into the streets of downtown Seattle, Clara murmured, "Why are you doing this? You don't even like me." "I don't know you," Sam said honestly. "But someone needed to get you home safe." Her voice was faint. "No one ever does that. Not without wanting something." He said nothing. Clara gave directions slowly between hiccups. Her apartment was on the 25th floor of a luxury building near Pike Place Market, the kind of place with doormen and coded elevators. Sam pulled into the front. The doorman recognized her instantly, helped her out, nodded at Sam. "Thanks, brother." Sam was about to leave when he heard a soft knock from the window. Clara was motioning for him to come up. He hesitated. He had to get back to Emily. But something in her eyes, maybe confusion, maybe something more, made him nod. Upstairs, her apartment looked like a magazine ad. Glass, chrome, perfect minimalist taste. But also, empty. No signs of life. No pictures. No clutter. No warmth. He helped her to the couch. She was quieter now. Less drunk, more sad. "I remember your file," she said out of nowhere. "Single parent. You asked for 3rd shift last year for daycare. I approved it." He looked at her, surprised. "Didn't think you noticed." She laid her head back. "I notice everything. I just don't say much when I do." There was a long silence. Then she whispered, "Thank you for not letting them laugh at me." Sam nodded. "Get some rest." He turned to leave. "Wait." She opened a drawer, pulled out a silver money clip, and tried to hand him cash. He stepped back. "No, thank you." She looked at him differently then. A long pause. Something shifted behind her eyes. "Do you have a kid?" she asked, suddenly softer. "Yeah. Emily. 7. She smiled, almost sadly. "I used to want kids." And then she passed out. The next morning, 6:47 a.m. Sam stood in front of her door again. He had driven straight home last night, picked up Emily, and barely slept. But he had left something in Clara's apartment, his jacket, the one with Emily's asthma inhaler inside the pocket. And this morning she needed it. He wasn't expecting her to answer the door so quickly. Hair tied back. No makeup. Coffee in hand. Then she saw Emily. Her expression changed instantly, something unreadable. "You brought her?" she asked quietly. "I didn't have a choice." Emily looked up, blinking at the tall woman. "Hi. I'm Emily. My daddy said you were sick last night." Clara crouched down, stunned. "You're beautiful." Then she stood up, looked Sam in the eye, and said something he never expected. "I remember everything from last night, and I'd like to take you both to breakfast." Sam blinked. "Ma'am, that's really not necessary." Clara stepped aside, holding the door open. "No. It's not about necessary. It's about right." And something about the way she said it, clear, sober, intentional, made Sam step inside. He didn't know it yet, but nothing about his life would be the same after this. Not after what she was about to reveal. Clara Easton didn't cry in front of people. Not even when her parents died. Not even when her fiancé left her 3 days before the wedding with a voicemail that just said, "You're too much." But that morning, sitting across from Sam and his daughter in a diner on 6th and Pine, still in yesterday's eyeliner and an old sweatshirt, she felt the sting in her throat start to rise. She forced it back. The waitress poured coffee. Emily asked for pancakes shaped like animals. Clara smiled and said, "Make hers a bear if you can." The waitress nodded, then Clara turned back to Sam. "You're probably wondering why I brought you here," she said. "I'm just wondering when I can give you back your night," Sam replied evenly. "We don't need anything, ma'am." Clara looked down at her cup. "That's just it. You didn't ask for anything. And that's what made me realize I owe you more than thanks." Sam raised an eyebrow. "You don't owe me a thing. You were drunk. I did the right thing. That's it." She took a breath. "No. You did what no one else would do. That's the difference." Emily leaned in to whisper, "Are you mad at each other?" Sam smiled gently. "No, baby. Just grown-up talking." Clara's voice softened. "Actually, I think I needed to see you both today. For more reasons than one." She pulled something from her purse. A folded piece of paper. Handed it to Sam. It was a resignation letter. Dated 2 weeks ago. Already signed. He looked at it, confused. "What is this?" "I was going to quit. I didn't want to be there anymore. I didn't care about anything except the title and the control. It was starting to feel like I was disappearing into the job." Sam said nothing, waiting. She continued, "And then last night, it hit me. No one there gave a damn. They laughed. They mocked me. I've led that office for 6 years. And not a single one of them called to check if I got home." Her eyes burned. "Except you." Sam looked at her, hesitant. "What made you start writing that letter?" Clara stared out the window. "I had a miscarriage." Sam's breath caught. She kept going, like a dam breaking. "I was pregnant this summer. 7 weeks. No one at the office knew. I hadn't told the father. Wasn't even sure if I was keeping it. Then one morning I started bleeding in the elevator. I sat on the cold bathroom floor for 2 hours and still showed up for a conference call at noon." Sam's jaw clenched. "I kept pushing through. Acting like nothing happened. Telling myself it wasn't a big deal. But it was." Her voice cracked. Across the table, Emily gently slid her napkin over. "You can use mine. It's clean," she whispered. Clara blinked hard. Took the napkin with trembling fingers. "That night, that party, it wasn't about drinks. I think I just wanted to disappear. Even if it was only for a few hours." Sam exhaled slowly. "I get that." Clara looked at him, raw. "You do." He nodded. "When Emily's mom left, I didn't leave the house for 3 weeks. Just laid on the floor with a bottle of ibuprofen and a sink full of dishes. I stopped eating. Only snapped out of it when Emily crawled on my chest and said, 'Daddy, your beard is pokey.' He half laughed. She saved me. I didn't save her." Clara looked at Emily like she was a miracle. "She's special. She's stronger than me," Sam said. Emily beamed, sipping chocolate milk. There was a long pause. Then Clara whispered, "I don't want to go back to that office." Sam looked surprised. She went on. "But I want to do something that matters. Something that feels like it matters." "What does that have to do with us?" She slid another folded paper across the table. It was a check. Made out to Emily Walker. $5,000. For what? Sam asked, stunned. "For child care. Or school. Or whatever keeps her smiling. You did more for me in one night than most people have done in years. And I want to help the person who actually gave a damn." Sam pushed it back. "We're not a charity case. I know. You're something rarer. A good man with too much weight on his back." Sam looked down at Emily. She was now drawing on a napkin, humming to herself. He slowly folded the check and slid it into his shirt pocket, not out of greed, but because he knew what $5,000 could mean to a little girl with asthma and shoes a size too small. Clara stood. "I need to walk. Clear my head." Sam nodded. "You gonna be okay?" She smiled, really smiled, for the first time in maybe years. I think I will be. Thanks to you too. She leaned down and whispered something in Emily's ear. Emily giggled and said, "You're welcome." Then Clara walked out into the cold, arms crossed, head high, but something lighter in her step. Later that night, back at their apartment, Sam opened the fridge. Still near empty. But Emily was asleep on the couch, a crayon bear drawing in her hand, and there was a check in his pocket that meant tomorrow could be better. Then his phone buzzed. New text from Clara Easton. "Sam, I just made a decision. I'm starting something new. Something that might involve you. Can we talk tomorrow?" Sam stared at the screen. His life had always moved in quiet lines. Now, it was shifting. He replied, "I'm free after 4. Let me know where." He didn't know what she was planning. But she had that look in her eyes, the look of someone who had nothing left to lose and everything left to rebuild. And he wasn't sure why, but deep down, he knew he'd say yes. The next afternoon, 4:05 p.m. Sam stood outside a quiet, sunlit office space near the Seattle waterfront. A small plaque by the door read, "Easton and Co." in clean, understated lettering. The windows were bare. No branding. No employees. Just an empty lobby, some desks, and the hum of potential. Clara Easton stood inside, wearing jeans, sneakers, and a look he'd never seen on her face before, hopeful. "Thanks for coming," she said, opening the door. Sam stepped in, cautious. Emily was with Mrs. Coates, coloring. He hadn't told her where he was going. He didn't know what this was yet. "Nice place," he said. "Not bad for 48 hours notice." She grinned. "Technically, I leased it this morning." Sam raised an eyebrow. "You said you wanted to talk." "I want to build something," she said, walking toward the big windows. "Something that actually means something." He waited. Clara took a breath. "Every job I've had has been about selling, furniture, image, lifestyle. But it's all fake. Temporary. Disposable. I want to create a real company. One that trains and hires single parents, veterans, people who've been overlooked their entire lives." Her voice gained strength. "A business that gives people a second shot, not just a paycheck. I want to call it Reframe. A staffing agency that places workers in companies with dignity, not desperation." Sam was quiet, but he felt something shift in his chest. "I need someone to help me build the operations from the ground up," she continued. "Someone who understands what it means to be on the edge but still show up. Someone like you." He blinked. "You want me to help run your company? I want you to help design the kind of company people like us have never been allowed to lead." She smiled. "And before you ask, yes, you'll be paid fairly. Full benefits. Flex hours. And Emily's care will be covered." Sam took a slow step back, staring at the floor. "Why me?" Clara didn't miss a beat. "Because I trust you. And because I saw how you carry people who can't carry themselves." He laughed once, dry and short. "I can't run a company. I'm just a forklift guy." She stepped forward. "Sam, every CEO I've worked under, they couldn't do half of what you did last night. You kept your integrity when no one else even noticed the mess. That's the kind of leadership we need. Not suits and MBAs. Heart." He didn't speak for a long time. Then finally, "I'll try." Clara nodded. "That's all I'm asking." 3 months later, Seattle, Washington. The office buzzed with low hums. New hires, mostly single parents and returning vets, were learning onboarding procedures. They got laptops. Real insurance. Real seats at the table. Sam sat at a desk near the window, adjusting paperwork and talking with a young father who'd just been released from a halfway house. Emily was in the back, doing homework at a small art station Clara had insisted they build for kids. Clara walked in holding 2 coffees and a folder. "Got a call from a tech startup. They need 20 part-time loaders. You up for a field visit?" Sam took the coffee. "Let's do it." They shared a glance. Something had changed in both of them. Not romance. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But something solid. Trust. Mutual respect. Quiet loyalty. A knock came at the door. A woman stood outside, early 30s, raincoat soaked, a toddler in her arms. Clara answered. "You hiring?" the woman asked nervously. Clara smiled. "Come in. You're in the right place." Later that night, at home, Emily stood brushing her teeth when she looked at Sam in the mirror. "Daddy." "Yeah. That lady, Miss Clara. What about her?" Emily wiped her mouth, thoughtful. "She looked really sad the first time we saw her. But now she smiles a lot." Sam nodded slowly. "Yeah. I think she needed people who saw her. Not her title." Emily tilted her head. "Like how you see me." Sam looked at her in the mirror. Exactly like that. She gave him a hug so fast he almost dropped his toothbrush. 6 months later, newscast clip. In a surprising twist, former corporate executive Clara Easton and a former warehouse worker Sam Walker have launched a staffing agency that's turning heads in the business world by prioritizing dignity over degrees. Their company, Reframe, is already helping hundreds of parents and veterans across Washington state find meaningful employment. Final scene, outside a park. Sam watched Clara from a bench while Emily ran in the grass. Clara was on the phone, laughing, pacing like she finally belonged somewhere. She hung up, came over, and sat beside him. Just signed a partnership with the city, she said. Free training programs start next week. Sam smiled. She looked at him. Still think you're just a forklift guy? He laughed quietly. Nah. I'm a co-founder now. They sat in silence as the sun dipped low behind the skyline. Then Clara said something that would stay with him forever. You didn't just drive me home that night, Sam. You drove me back to myself. And for once in his life, Sam didn't feel like he was surviving. He felt like he was leading.